All right, so we're diving into Act 2, Scene 4 of King Lear.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Definitely seems like things are heating up.
Oh, for sure. We've got Lear, Goneril, Regan, Kent stuck in the stocks.
And a fool who, let's be honest, is dropping truth bombs left and right.
No one seems to be catching them, though.
Exactly. So much to unpack here. Before we even get into the dialogue, just the stage direction right at the beginning. Lear arrives at Regan's place, hoping, you'd think, for a little bit better treatment than what he just got from Goneril.
Yeah, doesn't exactly work out that way.
Nope, he finds Kent in the stocks. What a visual.
Right. Powerful image, the stocks. I mean, that was a big deal back then. Public humiliation.
And Kent is, what, the most loyal guy Lear's got.
Pretty much. So yeah, it's a direct slap in the face to Lear, having Kent treated like that.
So right off the bat, Shakespeare's like, buckle up, folks. It's about to get messy.
No kidding. And it's interesting, neither Goneril nor Regan actually says, yep, I put him there.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
It's kind of brilliant, though. Ambiguity. Makes the audience wonder, right? Are they already in cahoots?
Like a sneaky tag team.
Yeah, exactly. Even if they don't say it outright, we get the sense something's brewing.
And then Lear's reaction. Poor guy. He seems totally lost.
Oh.
He asks Kent, "Ha, makest thou this shame thy pastime?" Like he thinks Kent wanted this.
He's in complete denial, clinging to this image of himself as powerful king, his daughters loving him.
Not facing reality at all.
Nope. And the way he gets mad at Kent, instead of at his daughters,
Yeah.
misplaced anger, 100%.
Big time. Attacking the one guy who's truly on his side.
Mm.
Making excuses for Goneril and Regan.
Classic tragic flaw, you could say.
Oh, totally. Speaking of flaws, or maybe wisdom, we can't forget the fool. He's got some serious lines in this scene.
More than just jokes, that's for sure.
You highlighted one in your notes. He says to Kent, "When a man is over lusty at legs, then he wears wooden nether socks." Seems simple, but
It's layered, right? You can laugh at it, but the fool's also hinting at how society restricts people, punishes them for stepping out of line.
and maybe foreshadowing what's going to happen to Lear.
I think so. Trapped by his daughters, stripped of his power.
The fool's like this sneaky commentator on the whole situation.
Exactly. He says things no one else dares to say.
And often gets away with it because people think he's just being silly.
Exactly. Like there's another line, this time it's a song. Fathers that wear rags do make their children blind, but fathers that bear bags shall see their children kind.
Ouch. That one hits hard.
Right. He's telling Lear straight up, your daughters only love you because you're rich and powerful.
And that's about to change?
Big time. So yeah, while Lear's focused on confronting his daughters head-on, the fool's trying to warn him.
Trying to get him to see the bigger picture.
But is Lear listening? That's the question.
Not really. He's too caught up in his own hurt and anger.
And speaking of hurt and anger, let's talk about how the power dynamic between Lear and his daughters shifts in this scene. Goneril and Regan are done playing nice.
No kidding. They go from obedient daughters to, well, something else entirely.
It's kind of terrifying how quickly it happens. They openly defy him, humiliate him.
Talk about a power grab.
Right. They're in control now, and they're letting Lear know it.
And the way they justify it all. Saying Lear's too old, needs to be managed, his knights are causing problems.
Total betrayal of everything a child is supposed to owe their parent.
Like, where's the respect? The love?
Gone with the wind. It's chilling, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, this filial duty thing, it was huge in Shakespeare's time. Like, you disobey your parents, that's a big no-no. So Goneril and Regan, they're basically spitting in the face of societal expectations.
Bold move.
For sure.
And they don't just stop at taking away his knights, right? They actually haggle over how many he's allowed to keep. Like it's some kind of business deal.
Right. It's like they're stripping him down piece by piece. Power, authority, dignity, all gone.
And Lear's clinging to this hope that Regan will be different, that she'll understand him. He even calls her tender-hefted at one point.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. He just wants one of his daughters to be on his side.
But nope. Regan's just as bad as Goneril, if not worse.
Maybe even worse, yeah. They feed off each other's cruelty, almost like they're competing to see who can hurt him more.
It's like a toxic sister act.
Yeah, totally.
And in the middle of all this, Lear's mental state is just deteriorating. He goes from confusion to anger to despair. It's all there in his language, isn't it?
Absolutely. At the start, he's like, are you my daughter, Regan? He can't believe what's happening. He's questioning reality.
Yeah. And then later, he calls Goneril a detested kite, curses her womb, strong words.
And rage is building, right. And it gets even darker. At one point, he cries out, oh, fool, I shall go mad. It's like he knows what's coming.
So Shakespeare's using Lear's words to show us this descent into madness?
Exactly. And then his final lines before he walks out into the storm, man, those are something else. He says, no, rather I abjure all roofs and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf and owl, necessity's sharp pinch. He's choosing to be out in the elements, with wild animals, anything to get away from his daughters.
That image is so powerful. This once mighty king reduced to, well, almost nothing.
Yeah, it's the turning point. He's lost everything. His power, his family, even his mind.
And the storm raging outside. It's like a mirror of what's going on inside him.
For sure. Symbolism all over the place.
Okay, so we've talked about Goneril, Regan the Fool, and Lear. But what about Kent? He's kind of the unsung hero of this scene, isn't he?
Totally. Unwavering loyalty. I mean, he gets thrown in the stocks, and still he defends Lear. Stands up to Oswald.
Which probably just gets him into even more trouble.
Probably. But he doesn't care. Lear's safety is all that matters.
Remember that cryptic message the fool gives Kent? Something about the dangers of following someone who's losing power.
Yeah. He's basically saying, dude, watch out. This is gonna get messy.
But Kent doesn't waver. He chooses loyalty over self-preservation.
Which is pretty remarkable when you think about it.
It's kind of wild, isn't it? The fool, who everyone thinks is just a jester, he's the one with all the wisdom, seeing everything so clearly. And Lear, the king, he's completely blind to what's going on.
It's like Shakespeare's flipping the script, right? Making us question who really holds the power, who has the real insight.
It may be suggesting that wisdom can come from the most unexpected places.
Exactly. And then you've got Gloucester, caught in the middle of all this.
Yeah, poor Gloucester. Torn between his loyalty to Lear and his fear of what Regan and Cornwall might do.
He tries to warn Regan about letting Lear go out into the storm, but...
He's powerless to stop it.
Totally. He's like a symbol of all the good people who get caught in the crossfire when the powerful start messing things up.
Shakespeare's really good at showing how these personal dramas, these family feuds, they have these huge ripple effects.
Oh, yeah. It's not just about one family. It's about the whole kingdom, the whole idea of order and justice being thrown into chaos.
So much going on in this one scene.
A lot to unpack, that's for sure.
It's almost like the storm itself is a character in the play.
Oh, absolutely. It's more than just bad weather, right? It's this force of nature that reflects everything that's going on.
So you're saying it's not just a coincidence that this massive storm hits right when Lear's world is falling apart.
Not a chance. Shakespeare was too good for that. Think about it. The storm mirrors Lear's inner turmoil, the rage he's feeling.
Like a visual representation of his mental state.
Exactly. But it goes even deeper than that. The storm also symbolizes the bigger chaos that's about to unfold, the whole kingdom being thrown into disarray.
So it's not just about Lear's personal tragedy.
Nope. It's about the collapse of order, the breakdown of society. Everything's up for grabs now.
It's like that line the fool sings, "Fathers that wear rags do make their children blind, but fathers that bear bags shall see their children kind." Everything's changing. The old rules don't apply anymore.
And Lear's caught right in the middle of it, blind to the truth, walking into a storm of his own making.
We've covered a lot of ground in this scene. Goneril and Regan's cruelty, the fool's warnings, Lear's descent into madness, Kent's incredible loyalty, even poor Gloucester, stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you had to pick one key takeaway for our listener, what would it be?
That's a tough one. But I think it would be to pay attention to Shakespeare's language. The way he uses words to create these intense emotions, the imagery, the rhythm of the dialogue, it's all there for a reason.
So it's not just about what happens, but how it's said.
Exactly. Shakespeare was a master of language, and he patched so much meaning into every line. When you start to really listen to the words themselves, it opens up a whole new level of understanding and appreciation for the play.
That's a great point. Any final thoughts before we wrap up our deep dive into Act 2, Scene 4?
Yeah, just one more thing. Don't underestimate the fool. He may seem like just a silly jester, but he's actually one of the wisest characters in the play. His words, even when they're funny, carry a lot of weight. Pay attention to what he says. He might just surprise you.
It's a good reminder that wisdom can come from unexpected places.
For sure.
Thanks so much for guiding us through this incredibly rich and complex scene. It's been a fascinating discussion.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk Shakespeare.